Paul Layimla, Alahayana, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, Wamalaki, Bahashim, Maharawat, Wakakorash, Barakathum, the water Bible Ball, Wakwam Yasharala. Double honor to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who teach us daily. To the men out there teaching the likewise doctrine, I say you shall wrong. Today we're gonna get to a couple of videos whereas Esau is they basically you got ICE raping these girls because all these girls in ICE custody, starting at the age of 12, they are coming up pregnant. So now this government is trying to hide that fact as well by sending these girls to some peninsula in Texas. Now, you already know if they hiding it, they ain't gonna try to save these babies. They're trying to get rid of them because they are caught. And I got another video whereas I don't know if this is an Amalekite. I don't know if he's a tiny top. I do know he has a big ass nose. And his spirit, to me, is one of the Amalekites. And the statement that he says is going to confirm that he is the wicked. So let's go ahead and grab these videos. But before that, let's get this copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. Let's go ahead and grab the video. The name of this video is Esau Edom Can't Hide Anything Anymore.
They are gathering pregnant children in San Benito, Texas, at a facility ran by Urban Strategies, a private contractor who has been taking care of children for decades. But now there's been straight directives from the Department of Human Resources, from the federal government to, and I quote, all pregnant detainees are to be sent to the San Benito Project, is what they called it. Pregnant children, pregnant girls, all of them they're being sent to fucking Texas, to a facility that is not equipped to deal with pregnant women, let alone pregnant children, because that's what these are. These are pregnant children. And a lot of them were in ICE custody and then got pregnant, and they were shipped to this facility. And any ones that are pregnant are getting sent to this facility.
Now, my question is, if ICE rounding up rapists, who's impregnating these children? You already know the answer to it. But see, their stance is they're rounding up criminals. How you know a person a criminal if you don't even know their identity? They just run up on people, kidnapping. See, this has nothing to do with law enforcement. This has everything to do with Esau wanting to get away with his wickedness under the guise of law.
Where there's inadequate care and no abortion rights, no like anti-abortion laws. It's literally it's what they tried to do this shit in 2017 and they failed. And now they're just doing it casually. They're just like, nope, send them all to this one spot where they have to have, where these underage children, there's no such thing as underage children. They keep calling them underage women. If you look this up, they'll call them underage women. They're fucking children, dude. They're girls. They're children. And they're forcing them to go to this facility in Texas where they're not getting any prenatal treatment. They're not getting like basic medical care. They're being malnourished. They have no access to like civil rights, constitutional rights, human rights. Like no. It's disgusting. They're like forcing children to have babies with like no fucking, like it's the most. Anybody who wants to say I was fucking dramatic for saying they're fucking taking children to a fucking island in Texas. Hey, look at that river.
Sound familiar? Does it sound like Epstein Island Part 2? Now, I don't know what's going to happen, but through the spirit, I can speculate that they're going to force these girls, these children, to have abortions, and they probably eat these kids. That's what I feel through the spirit, because Esau love eating some kids. You're going to see it in this next video.
There's a peninsula on that fucking island. Or, sorry, there's a peninsula on that fucking river. And if they cut that off, they build their little pop-up detention center on that peninsula and then cut that off from the mainland. That's essentially an island where they're putting at-risk pregnant children, kids.
See, Esau loves privacy to do his wickedness. That's why he had Epstein Island. He don't want to be disturbed in his wickedness. He don't want people running up on him. He wants to be in total control of that environment. That's why he picks islands inaccessible to the public. He don't want to be disturbed.
Okay? Like, when are we gonna...
Underage girls keep testing positive for pregnancy at ICE detention centers. I don't know why I said underage girls. What I meant to say was children. There are children as young as like 12 and 13 who are testing positive for pregnancy while being kept at an ICE detention center. They're discussing in the news like how they're trying to build some new kind of system to keep them away from the guard. What? What?
So they know about it, but they still allowing it, and ain't nobody in jail. See? I see why the Lord finna get rid of you Edomites. And I have no problem with it whatsoever.
But go about your day. Still got to pay rent. Still you gotta catch Survivor. Can't miss that. It's the season 50. Isn't that great?
See, just like they knew about these ICE animals raping these children, they know about Trump and Epstein Island and all them celebrities, yet they will not punish their own. So the Lord gonna get y'all asses.
ICE detention centers, children testing positive for pregnancy. I wonder what the challenge they'll do this week. ICE detention centers, children testing positive for being pregnant. America.
ICE is holding all pregnant minors in a single Texas facility. Children as young as 13 are being held there, and here's what makes this even more disturbing. At least half of them are pregnant as a result of rape, and they're being held in a state under a total abortion ban with no exceptions. In the past, pregnant minors were placed in foster care or shelters equipped to handle high-risk pregnancies. That changed when the Trump administration ordered all pregnant children be placed into the San Benito program moving forward, despite internal findings that the facility isn't equipped to care for them. Now, experts are sounding the alarm. The Center for Reproductive Rights released a statement saying it's not a coincidence that the Trump administration is sending young pregnant girls to be detained in a state where abortion is banned. Here are my sources if you want more information.
There are concentration camps in Texas where they are separating the teen girls from everyone else. They're buying incinerators. A lot of the teen girls are pregnant. Texas doesn't allow abortion for any reason, not for life of the mother, not for incest, not for rape, not for anything. You do the fucking math.
There will be a time, and it may not be too far in the future, when people look back and they wonder how in the United States this has been allowed to happen, that
This country has always allowed rape. As far as you Edomites, you always gotten away with this. What do you mean? He trying to make it seem like this just popped up last year or some shit. You Edomites have always gotten away with rape.
this is happening, that the United States military did this. Through the Navy, the Department of Homeland Security is purchasing a lot of incinerators for human remains. and they will be constructed at detention centers across this nation.
So if they want to murder, they want to rape and murder somebody, they can just get rid of the body right there on site. That's wickedness, man. That's premeditated wickedness. But that's all right, though. The Lord got a premeditated judgment for all you fuckers. Excuse my French, but you can imagine my anger right about now. These people just do wickedness and just pretend it's not wicked. That's all right, though. The Lord finna get all y'all. Let me blow this back up.
I'm serious. This is happening. I'm including a link. Watch the link.
ICE is buying incinerators, and now we have proof. A Navy contract was just released showing the Navy is managing the construction of a massive network of immigration detention centers across the nation. And what's included in the contract is extremely disturbing. It describes tent cities that can hold 10,000 people each, with a specific provision for biohazard incinerators under the medical and death section. That means they are specifically planning for death and choosing to burn.
Now they are planning to murder.
The evidence right there on site. The reason DHS is paying the Navy $55 billion for this is so they can get this nationwide network of giant detention centers with infrastructure for handling death built as quickly as possible. And they tried to do it quietly by updating the Navy's existing contract to make this deal instead of creating a new contract specifically for this. Here are my sources if you want more information.
All right, let's come out of this. Now I got one more. Listen to this. It says, why can't we eat babies? What's wrong with eating babies? If we have extra babies around, nobody wants them. Why can't we eat them? Look at that big ass nose. That's all I'm going to say. Look at that flag. Look at that flag. What do these two flags represent? The nation of Edom. This is why the Lord finna get rid of y'all asses. You see the insanity amongst these people. Now, I'm going to let you hear him say it.
With eating babies. If we've got extra babies around that nobody wants, why can't we eat them, right?
You know, why can't we eat babies? What's wrong with eating babies? If we've got extra babies around that nobody
With eating babies. If we've got extra babies around that nobody wants, why can't we eat them, right?
You know, why can't we eat babies? What's wrong with eating babies? If we've got extra babies around that nobody
Yeah, it's real. We can come out of this now. You see the insanity of these animals? You see why the Lord gonna get rid of these animals? You see why we say just because you walk on two legs and speak a language does not make you human? This man talking about extra kids laying around like you just cracked open a Twix. You eat half now, you say the other half for later. Ain't nobody got no kids for you just to be snacking on, cuz. The fuck wrong with these people? But then again, these are not people. You have to understand that. Just because they walk on two legs, just because they speak a language does not make them human. These are base men for a reason. Because right up under Esau, that's where the animal kingdom starts. And without empathy for human life, you are not considered human. Therefore, that crosses you out as being fit to rule. Look at what these people are doing. They're kidnapping kids, children, and raping them under the guise of law. They kidnapping kids and eating them. But these are humans. I doubt it. I can't tell. Let's get some scriptures, man. Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given to the hand of the wicked, because the faces of the judges thereof not aware, and who is he? Get this one. Job chapter 30, verse 8. They were children of fools, your children of base men. They were viler than the earth. Good definition of vile. So everybody will know exactly what we're talking about. Vile is an adjective describing someone or something as extremely unpleasant, morally base, or physically disgusting. It indicates a high degree of offensiveness, wickedness, or poor quality. Esau is very poor quality. Now let's get some synonyms. That's why he's rejected. This is why this man was rejected from the birthright, because Esau showed it off the bat that he don't give a damn about future generations of his people. Esau is still showing that same sentiment right now, because look at what he's doing to future generations of his own people. He eating them. He's murdering them. The Lord didn't make no mistake when he rejected you from the blessing, from the birthright. Look at what you do with it. You destroy everything. You destroy future generations of your own people by murdering them and eating them. That's why you were rejected. Synonyms for vile: despicable, abominable, depraved, loathsome, wicked, and atrocious. Depraved, corrupt, nefarious, vicious, base, see, sinful, villainous, immoral, heinous, disgusting, revolting, sickening, foul, odious, abominable. That's E. And that's superior about your ass. So you're superiorly wicked. Now, let's get this one. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 10. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. What did that man ask in that video? What's wrong with eating babies? I don't see the issue. You got an extra kid laying around. What's wrong with eating them? See, they fit the scriptures. The wicked shall do wickedly and shall not understand. He was dead ass when he was asking what's wrong with eating babies, because the wicked shall do wickedly and none shall understand, because they think this is normal. It's not normal. It might be normal amongst you Edomites, but it's not normal amongst the rest of the human families of the earth. Yeah, he was very, very serious. What's wrong with it? You got an extra kid, you know what I'm saying? A little hot sauce, Let's keep rolling. Let's get this one. This is Psalms chapter 55. And this is verse 19. Yahweh shall hear and afflict them, even he that abideth of old, Salah, because they have no changes, therefore they fear not Yahweh. No changes. They still on rape, rob, murder. Now they're raping, well, they always been raping children. No changes. They are still doing what they've been doing since this book was written. Verse 20, he had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant. Just kidnapping people. You don't know they're criminals if you don't even know their identity. You don't know their identity. How can you run a background check? See, this is just racism. This is jealousy, envy, hatred amongst Israelites. And the Lord's going to get y'all back. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. Verse 22, cast thy burden upon the Lord, Yahweh, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. Listen to this. But thou, O Yahweh, shall bring them down to the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee. Now let's get this one. Let's go to the wisdom of Solomon. See if there's any more meat on this bone. But yeah, that's E, man. I see why the Lord is really gonna get rid of y'all. Cause there is no way to live amongst these people peacefully, because peace they know not. From Isaiah chapter 59. There's no way. And then if you try to go off by yourself and live peaceably, they come fuck with you. So they have to be exterminated. And I understand that. And I have no problem with it whatsoever. Okay, this is the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12. And we can start at verse 1. For thine incorruptible spirit is in all things. Therefore chasteneth thou them by little and little that offend, and warnest them by putting them in remembrance wherein they have offended, that leaving their wickedness, that they may believe on thee, O Lord. For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of the Holy Land, whom thou hast hated for doing the most odious works of witchcraft and wicked sacrifices, and also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of man's flesh, and the feasts of blood, were their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and parents that killed with their own hands, so destitute of help. They've been doing this shit. That's why the scripture said they have made no changes. They still the same wicked Edomites. Now let's go to, let me see if this is and this is the law. The book of Leviticus. Where is it? The book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, Salakia, and the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, again, this is a law. Listen to this. Again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever be he of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Molech, he shall surely be put to death. the people of the land shall stone him with stones. And I will set my face against that man, and will cut off him from amongst my people, because he hath given his seed unto Molech to defile my sanctuary and to profane my holy name. And if the people of the land do any ways hide their eyes from the man, when he giveth up his seed unto Molech, and kill him not, then I will set my face against that man, against his family, and will cut off all that go a whoring after him to commit whoredom with Molech from among their people. That's all Esau does, is child sacrifice. This is a law against it. That's all Americans see. These are the gods Americans worship. It's not Jesus. They just told you that bullshit. These people worship Molech and Baal. That's why they can't stop messing with kids. That's why this country gonna be destroyed. Idol worship. Let's go to Psalms 106. And we can start around verse 33. Now, bear in mind that these scriptures I'm about to read, they are talking about the wicked 2/3 of our people. But you can basically link this behavior back to Esau, because this is where our people get it from. Matter of fact, it's going to say it in these scriptures, where our people get this wickedness from. Verse 33. Because they provoked his spirit, so that he spake unadvisedly with his lips. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord Yahweh commanded them, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. There it is. Now, what did they learn? Listen to this. And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. What idols? Molech and Baal. You don't believe me? Listen to this. Yeah, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan, and the land was polluted with blood. Thus they were defiled with their own works, and went a whoring with their own inventions. Therefore the wrath of the Lord Yahweh kindled against his people, insomuch that he abhorred his own inheritance. That's why he cut us off, because wicked Israelites were doing child sacrifice. Verse 41, and he gave them into the hand of the heathen, and they that hated them ruled over them. Their enemies also oppressed them, and they were also brought into subjection under their hand. And they still doing the shit to this day. We get a few more and close. We hit the points. Let me see. Go to Habakkuk. Get a few more. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yeah, because also he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Who enlarges his desire is hell, and this is death, and cannot be satisfied. But gather unto him all nations, and heaping unto him all people. See? He wants a vast selection of people to eat, to rape, to murder, and not be questioned, and not be judged. This is the insanity of Esau Edom. This is also the reason why the Lord is about to destroy his ass. Psalm chapter 73, verse 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Now let's get Zechariah chapter 11. This is why he's going to be punished. One of the many reasons. Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. See? And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. This is why in that video they said, well, they trying to figure out a way to keep the girls from the guards. See, they don't see anything wrong with it. They hold themselves not guilty. The Lord holds y'all asses guilty, though, all day. Let's get Ezekiel chapter 35. We can end it on that one. Verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity. The time of their iniquity had an end. I promise you, a vast majority of these girls are Northern Kingdom. So yes, they are Israelites. Verse 6, therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off him that passeth out, and him that returneth. Let me get one more. Well, a couple more. They just popping up in my head. Lord finna cut y'all balls off. Think it's a game. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14. Verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For lo, Salakia, for I will rise up against them, said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew. So if you don't have any more Edomite men, you can't create no more Edomites. Go to Ezekiel 25. Verse 12, thus said the Lord Yahweh, because that Edom had dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus said the Lord Yahweh, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger, and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord Yahweh. Verse 17, and I will execute great vengeance upon them with furious rebukes, and they shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh when I shall lay my vengeance upon them. Y'all done. And the Lord can't do it fast enough, because y'all just waxing worse and worse. These goddamn animals, these ice animals. Yep. The Lord finna get y'all a bloodbath, homie. So I hope you can handle what the Lord about to do to y'all, because y'all been doing this bullshit to us for way too long. So the Father's gonna step in and boot y'all asses back in them cages, boot y'all asses back into captivity. And after that, 1,000 years of captivity gonna round y'all asses up and deport you from the planet by way of fire. And ain't nobody gonna miss y'all punk asses. We ain't gonna have to worry about our children. Call Halayim La Lahai Now Yahweh. By Hashem Yahweh Shah Mashiach, Wa Malakia by Hashem Harawat Wakagurash, the Rock of Thumb, the Water Bible Bar Wakwam Yasharala. Shalom.